Do you know what a song line is? Today we're going to look at what a song line is, creation myths, and art. In 1987, a British traveller, a writer called Bruce Chatwin, describes songlines as, to quote, the labyrinth of invisible pathways which meander all over Australia and are known to Europeans as dreaming tracks or songlines. To the Aboriginals, they're known as the footprints of the ancestors or the way of the law, and that's L-O-R-E, law. In Australia, the term is used in connection with Aboriginal culture. It's part of what's called the dream time. And Wikipedia tells us the dreaming or the dream time has been described as a sacred narrative of creation that is seen as a continuous process that links traditional Aboriginal people to their origins. We understand that it's a vital part of Aboriginal culture, connecting people to their land. A songline is both a map of the land and of the stars. Aboriginals have been known to walk for thousands of miles following the songlines. The songs have been memorised, and even though a person may not have been in that area before, the song gives details of the land and the route that they should be following. The song will indicate features such as waterholes, gorges, and other land formations. Creation myths. These songs describe creation, how different elements of nature came into being. Aboriginal creation myths tell us of the legendary totemic beings who wandered over the continent in the dream time, singing out the name of everything that crossed their path. Birds, animals, plants, rocks, waterholes, and so they were singing the earth into existence. As hunters and gatherers, they used this information to find food and when to leave the land for it to recuperate. There are many different languages and tribes across the continent. Languages are not a problem, however. All groups can follow the songlines because the contour of the songs is similar in each language. Also, depending on the area, the song will continue in that local language. So even though the tribes didn't know each other, they could communicate by song, and the sounds would somehow resonate with what they were reading in the land. And we have art. Art is often found along the songlines and tells the stories of the dream time. And it's in dance, along with song and rock drawings and carvings that are an important way of keeping the stories vibrant. And in this way, the neighbouring groups could pick up the stories of each tribe and would respect what was going on in each area of the land. And if you are walking the wrong way on a songline, it is considered sacrilegious. For example, climbing Uluru really is a no-no for the Aboriginal people. Traditional Aboriginals consider all land sacred, and the songs must continually be sung to keep the land alive. Now, it was known by some of the early Western settlers and pioneers that if they made friends with the Aboriginal tribes in their area, they could get information about how to get from one place to another. And do you know that many of our roads, our highways, and our train lines are now on the ancient Dreamtime tracks? Now, this is something that I really learned as new, and I thought, isn't it fantastic So, for example, we've got the India Pacific, which goes from Perth to Sydney. That's a Dreamtime track. Then we've got the GAN, which goes from Adelaide up to Alice Springs. That's a Dreamtime track. And the GAN is called the GAN, for those of you who may not know, it was named after the Afghans who brought in to Australia, or they imported into Australia, camels from Afghanistan. And they were the early trains. They were animal trains going up through the centre of the country, and they were following an ancient Dreamtime track. They were following a songline. So a lot of what we do now is somehow influenced by these ancient peoples, these First Nation peoples, that set in train something that is absolutely quite precious. And I think now, in this day and age, we've lost a lot of what they have to offer. And I would actually like to say that as a modern and unified nation, we can learn so much from ancient knowledge to heal the land in which we live and to be at one with nature. I would like to see a lot more of the Aboriginal wisdom brought into current thinking, whether it's to do with understanding the artwork. Now, that artwork behind me is a reflection of a dream track or a song line, and they're crisscrossed all around the country. And so I would suggest that if you would like to know any more about it, start with Wikipedia, and then there's a whole list of references that you can follow through with to learn a lot more about songlines. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.